Bitcoin just touched $27,786 after a long time of waiting, breaking through all these levels of resistance. Instead of going to the downside, we are now pumping to the upside. Bitcoin has already done a 10% day, and that does not happen in a bear market. Right now, yes, we do see a lot of these altcoins joining the party, running to the upside. What exactly is happening in the market? Even XRP is coming back up, testing this level of resistance. If we break through this one, that shows even XRP is starting to run up. Do the RSI agree? Do the MACD agree? What does the macro outlook show us? That is going to be something which we all have to understand. But I'm so happy that before this all started, when we were at 25,000, I actually shared you with the thought process of like, we are going to see a 5 to 10% candle coming up. And I'm so happy just after that, like that post was here. And we started moving right up. We touched that 10% rally to the upside. And if we are looking at the pattern of what we just saw here, we had that thought process saying, okay, I think we're going to have a short-term correction. We're going to bounce back up. And we did have that short-term correction, then bounced back up. So where are we going? We are already, keep in mind, that's a pattern we are discussing here, right? And we still have some room to the upside. That means when Bitcoin is moving about $25,000, you observe that a lot of these altcoins are joining the party. Before was like 5, 8, 10, 20, and 1 or 2 actually going about 20. Now we are seeing an average of 10, 15, and some of them going about 30, right? And as we go through different sectors, we do understand that market is now attractive. A lot of people are jumping back in due to the macro scenario. Now that kind of makes a lot sense right now, because a lot of people were literally asking, where do you think the money is going to come? Now banks are collapsing. We get the answer where the money is coming in, because on the other side, we discussed about what's going to happen with dollar and higher probability in our thought process. And I shared my opinion too, saying, okay, you're going to break to the downside, you retest and get rejected, during which crypto market goes up. And what the hell is happening right now? The market is favoring us. This is going a long way. If you are prepared to take profits, be ready, because a lot of these coins are showing you they are about to blast off. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal guys get to learn how to become the next top 10% of this world. When we did the last video saying a huge move ahead is here, we had this thought process saying we are going to get this move. Right now, we have already done that. And on the conservative side, we were thinking 5, but the thought process was, yeah, it's possible, and this is the range we are looking at. And I'm like, okay, right now, while the market is moving in that direction, this is a short-term chart, 4-hour chart. Keep that in mind. When you're on a daily, when you're on a weekly, this just played out. For anyone who has been following us from at least a month, knew what we were talking while we were going down during the panic. And that just materialized here. And there are some assets. Now, I can be wrong, but the thought process here is there are other assets in the same market showing you a same price action. One giant candle to the upside, 3 candles coming back to the bottom of this, and then starting to bounce. So we go back now to see, okay, Bitcoin just did something. What was that? It kind of showed you, yeah, after that, the price just actually went nuts. From the 21,000, you just in the same week, from that 21,500, you went all the way up to 27,900. And we have not closed the candle yet. This is a Friday here, and we still have a couple more days in this week. Great. So we do see Bitcoin has room to the upside. We are watching a lot of these altcoins showing you exactly what they are about to do. And the major altcoins, which you should keep your eyes on, are showing you something similar. 3 candles to the downside, bounce, then boom, right? As we discussed on a clear pattern here in these three videos, we were clearly giving you the thought process. Okay, we broke 22, we are going to this level. What? 28, 29, 30,000. Where are we right now in the market? We reached close to 28,000. Now, yes, the narrative out there has been changing, and XRP right now is getting a lot of speculation about the SEC case getting solved. And based on what we see in the other cases in the court, it now becomes more reinforced that, okay, court may not actually go against Ripple, the company, and XRP, the asset, because the truth and the law is on their side. They are not on the wrong end of this one. Now, when an individual like CZ Binance is actually giving you this idea, a lot of big investors, venture capitals, all of them are looking at this. And on the other side, when they see this happening, that means your money is being depreciated with the increase in supply. Basically, you are just diluting the existing supply of cash, which usually reduces its value. So once you are in an asset class and you see on the other end the dollar is dropping, now you know what to do. Even if you are a pure gold bug, I'll agree with you this time around. Why? Because the dollar is about to drop, because the economy is so bad, because this is breaking through a long-term consolidation. We hit this range in 2020 July. Right now, we are coming back to test that range, and on a monthly chart, gold is showing you it was a reaccumulation phase after your accumulation here. So everything except the dollar or the fiat currencies are going to go up, and people are moving into different assets for some reason. Right now, you see the monthly close of the MACD on the positive zone. I'm not a gold bug, and I'm not saying this is doing a 10x, but from here, this does look great. You complete a bear market cycle, you're going into the next wave, you did a reaccumulation, wow, that looks great. Now, if you look at silver, it's highly manipulated, but it also shows you something huge is coming. Maybe now it's 22, we'll be surprised if we see $100 in the next impulsive wave. That is going to be a surprise. Because a lot of people have money in the bank, but they don't have silver, they don't have gold, they don't have any assets like crypto. Crypto is highly volatile, and if you're conservative, you may not want it. But you still have the option to keep your purchasing power when all of this is happening, because the wealth gap is going to be too big. And if you cannot see what the hell is happening in the market right now, you may miss out on a lot of things. When we actually talked about the V-shaped recovery, not everyone was ready to even believe that, right? Because it was a little bit earlier when the market was dropping, right? And we were talking about a day before, where is the pain over, and my thought process of the biggest run coming in. Now, it's just been a week, and we observe that in that week, what's happening? Last couple of weeks, the market has been bouncing back up. So when you are there and you are in the market trying to understand what the hell is happening in the market, if these things are helpful for you, you can look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below. Now, that's all for the marketing. But the truth about different assets has to be talked in detail, because when you come here and you're looking at Bitcoin saying, okay, I do understand that the market was below this range, and that range was a strong resistance for like 300 days, say to 77 to be precise, and we are breaking that right now. That means something. If you don't get that point, go on a weekly chart, look for the macro, and now you want to see whether the price and the indicators agree on that point. But keep this in mind. You have completed wave 1. You did wave 2. Now, what are you going to do? Wave 3. Now, where is it going to top out? No one knows. We'll try to project that. But historically speaking, keep this idea in your mind. Around a 360%, say maybe 500% is going to be the top. And that's 100,000. And if you are literally going for that 350, you're saying around 80,000 is going to be the top. But the recent high was around 70. So I personally think, okay, it can be a little bit higher, maybe 90, maybe 95. Right. But that's in the medium term scenario. Right now, what's going to be more interesting for us is to really look at what the altcoins did when Bitcoin started pumping here. Say March 19. What was the crypto market doing? At least what the hell was XRP doing? 2019 March 25. So we actually go into a weekly chart on XRP and we literally want to see what was XRP doing. And this is where it gets really concerning. During that year, 2019, XRP was still going to the downside. Great. So you had a small bounce, but that did not materialize well, and you were still making lower highs and going back down. Whereas here, something has changed. And remember, at that time, your MACD was lower. It's going down, 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 down. You're not actually putting in a trend. But right now, we have a lot happening because it was not like a 1400x to the upside, because a lot of people were still in profit at this range. That's something you have to keep in mind. By this range, there were a lot of people who were still in profit because the market came up from here. Even those who didn't time the market well was well in profit, like 50x, even after the drop like this. So they were taking profits. The market went down. With the health crisis, it was worse. But we didn't drop below that previous level of support. We started bouncing back up, and right now we are back to that historical level of support. So if we get a panic sell-off, that's going to be a huge opportunity in my thought process. And if I say this, right now we really don't have a big direction for XRP. Being honest, I would say, okay, we want to see a breakout. If we break to the upside, wow, that's great, because that now is breaking through a long-term resistance. Unlike for Bitcoin, which we are breaking a year-long resistance, we need to understand here it's almost 2-year-long resistance as soon as we break this one, which will eventually give you the idea you're going nuts. Why? Because the RSI has already done that. It retested and it's showing you I'm trying to bounce back up in a new trend. And if this is breaking, that's a good news. That's a great news for anyone who's holding XRP. Because on the other side of this, the market itself is going up. And if you really want to look at that, say we go look at Ether, right? To get a better understanding of what the altcoin market is about to do. And as we understand, the altcoin market right now is showing that it is bouncing. Last couple of videos, we were talking about this and saying keep an eye on this pattern for some time. Why? Because we consolidated in that range as a continuation pattern, and right now you're breaking that to the upside. What does that actually mean? You go back into the price action and you see on a weekly, the price came back to the 21-day moving average. After which, it actually bounced off aggressively and validated that this was a bullish break. Now, why is that so important? Because on a weekly, when you're breaking through such a credible level for Ether, it kind of shows you, okay, it now has room to run all the way back up to 2,500. Now, it's not going to be a sky high price. It is still going to be a good run. But now what you will observe in the market is like you go back and you're looking for all these coins, and last 1 quarter, some of them have already done 10x, 15x like that. We see FOMO in the market. We see a lot of different projects. Say, for example, if you are looking at Render. Now, looking at the fundamentals, you can do that. You can check whether the project is interesting. You can see whether the use case is strong. And if you think that is the case, now it's up to you to check whether that asset was in an accumulation, whether that asset broke higher from the accumulation range, whether it retested and is bouncing right now. We all know what happens after that. You enter into wave 2. That's where you go nuts crazy, right? So I'm like, okay, if this 3-wave structure is just the wave 1, that's going to be really hard. The market is going to go higher. But I'm personally asking myself, like, okay, is this the 3-wave structure in a market cycle which ended there and you just went into a bear market? You're starting a new cycle? What are the chances for that? Because we really don't know what this individual asset is doing. But as a market, we are just going for the wave 2. How do you know? You actually go into a lot of different assets. You can go into a medium cap asset. You can go into a large cap asset. This is a competitor for XRP. We observed that the wave 1, we didn't do much. Wave 2, wave 3. The bear market looked like this. Great. And after which you only did the first phase, right? You really didn't actually join much, and wave 2 has not yet started. And one thing we all understand clearly is the fact that we are in a macro pattern which is bullish. Now, this is a weekly chart, right? A falling wedge like this break to the upside. So imagine the price actually break here, retest this and bounce. Wow, that is going to be a big move. Why? Because when you actually come here into the RSI and look at this, we bounced off from the support level. We are now making something like Ether just did. And if you're breaking through that range, now you're also breaking through these levels, which was a previous support, which then became a resistance. And you're entering into 50, 55, 60s in the strength, where the bulls now started going into a direction where they can bring in FOMO to the market. So don't underestimate this market. Don't go against this market because it can be weird. Because here we are just looking at a weekly candle, right? And that itself is showing you a lot in bullish. And when we go into the macro, right now it is completely bullish. You are looking for all these months of consolidation which is being kicked out right now. Ether staying here is like, wow, right? You went through all these bear market price movements. Then you come on to the monthly chart of Bitcoin and you're literally seeing, okay, you just erased all of this. Now you're back here, not even in the consolidation range before. You're going to look for the moving average close to 35. But say, let's be conservative. We'll say 33, right? That is still going to be something huge. This range is something we have talked about. And for sure, there will be people who are going to come into the market trying to look at the market on at least a daily, 3-day, weekly and say, by this area, we're going to short the market. By this area, we're going to short the market. And let's see what the market is about to do. Because the market gets liquidity in both ends. It is a double-edged sword. If you're 100x leverage, the market can kick you out, whether you're a bull or bear. So it's completely up to you to understand which is a strong resistance and a support. So you understand that range. Maybe it's just 2x, which is comfortable. Maybe it's just 3x. Maybe it can go up to 5x, but it depends on where the price is right now compared to the resistance and support. And that's why we actually go through all of this to see, okay, now this is turning a support. That means we are looking for the resistance. So now you actually know the direction, right? You got to see the volume. You got to see the strength. You got to see the candle, how the market reacted. So guys, keep that level of education going on because the market is about to teach a lot of new things on a regular basis. We're not only retail investors here, institutions are entering in this cycle way more than ever because the banking system is giving them concerns all over the world. And crypto is 24/7. So if you as a banking executive understand that, okay, this is happening, even you can buy it. You don't have to give it to your clients. You may actually go in yourself, right? And we just see all these banks building on patents to use crypto. That is actually big. We even saw CFA this year giving the idea that don't miss out on crypto. So that means a lot of portfolio managers are actually about to give this to their assets in that management area because for them, asset under management gives them the commission. So it's actually a huge thing to look for. So guys, if you're receiving value for your time, please do hit that like and subscribe button. And if you are looking for something like this where we go through all these on a regular basis, giving you the right update on the opportunities and possibilities which we see, you can look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below. So that's it for today, guys. I'll meet you on the next video. Bye for now.